Dual spoilers are officially confirming that the shocking sale of the Kiriakis mansion is going to be the ultimate push that Sarah and Xander need to finally get back together. Can you believe it? After all the agony, the miscommunications, and the endless interference from other people, this devastating loss of Victor's estate is going to force them to weather the storm side by side. Losing the Kiriakis mansion is forcing Xander to deeply reflect on the next chapter of his life, and more importantly, exactly what role Sarah is going to play in it. I am absolutely thrilled because this is exactly the kind of high-stakes emotional catalyst we have been begging the writers for. It is the perfect setup for a massive reunion. Let's be real for a second. The news that Maggie has actually agreed to sell the Kiriakis estate is nothing short of a tragedy. Victor Kiriakis must be rolling in his grave right now. For decades, that mansion has been the absolute epicenter of power, wealth, and ruthless family legacy in Salem. And to think that Philip's disastrous gambling debts and epic failures have forced Maggie to put a for sale sign on the front lawn, that's crazy. But while the loss of this iconic piece of Salem history is a bitter pill to swallow, it is creating a fascinating ripple effect for our favorite estranged couple. The deal is done, the papers are signed, and now the reality is setting in. Xander and Sarah have to pack their bags and move out. They have been finding a really beautiful rhythm, living under the same roof, co-parenting sweet little Victoria, and now the rug is being completely pulled out from under them. And you won't believe what happens next when they sit down to discuss their living arrangement. Xander drops the bomb that he is going to move back into his old apartment. Naturally, Sarah's heart skips a beat, and she immediately jumps to the conclusion that Xander is subtly asking her to move in with him. She thinks this is it, the big romantic gesture where he asks her to keep their makeshift family together under a new roof. But here's the kicker. He doesn't. Instead of a romantic declaration, Xander calmly and maturely asks Sarah to find a place near his apartment so that co-parenting Victoria will be easier. Ouch! Talk about a brutal reality check. Sarah is left standing there, completely stunned, realizing that Xander is actually drawing a firm boundary. I honestly think this move by Xander is a massive psychological breakthrough for his character. A lot of fans think Xander is just being stubborn or pushing Sarah away out of spite, but I actually think he is showing incredible growth. Think about the Xander from 5 or 10 years ago. The old Xander, the ruthless hitman who used to do Victor's dirty work, would have manipulated the situation. He would have used Victoria as a pawn to guilt Sarah into living with him. But this new Xander, he has accepted that his future might just be a co-parenting partnership rather than a grand romance. He is putting his daughter's stability above his own desperate need to possess Sarah. He is finally acting like a grown man who respects boundaries, and ironically, that newfound maturity is exactly what is breaking Sarah's heart. Sarah is absolutely crushed by Xander's emotional distance, even if she won't admit it out loud. Let's dig into Sarah's psychology for a minute. She has a notorious history of wanting what she cannot have and running away when things get too real. Remember when she was engaged to Rex but secretly pining for Eric? Or the entire chaotic baby swap nightmare that completely shattered her reality? Sarah uses new relationships as a shield to protect herself from the vulnerability of her true feelings. Right now, she is desperately trying to convince herself that she has moved on, but the sheer disappointment she feels when Xander doesn't ask her to move in proves that she is still deeply, madly in love with him. She wants Xander to fight for her, but Xander is tired of fighting a losing battle. But wait, because the drama gets so much worse. While Xander is respectfully establishing healthy boundaries, Brady Black decides to swoop in and do the exact opposite. Brady, completely misreading the room as he always does, uses Sarah's sudden housing crisis as an opportunity to fast-track their romantic relationship. Brady actually asks Sarah to move in with him. I mean, seriously? I think this move is a huge mistake because Brady is acting incredibly needy and desperate. Brady has the most toxic, disastrous romantic track record in the history of Salem. From his twisted, never-ending obsession with Kristen DiMera to his failed romances with Chloe Lane and Teresa Donovan, Brady always rushes into things to fill the massive void in his heart. He is using Sarah as a life raft, and it is honestly painful to watch. Now, Sarah is backed into a massive corner. On one hand, she has Xander, the true love of her life, who is painfully pulling away and offering her nothing but a platonic co-parenting schedule. On the other hand, she has Brady, who is practically begging her to play house with him. Sarah is absolutely thrown by Brady's offer, and she tells him she needs time to think about it. She knows she has to discuss this with Maggie, and obviously she has to talk to Xander because moving in with Brady directly affects Victoria's living situation. I can already picture the explosive confrontation when Xander finds out Brady is trying to play stepdaddy to his little girl under his own roof. Xander's protective instincts are going to go into absolute overdrive. A lot of viewers are worried that Sarah is actually going to say yes to Brady, but let's look at the long game here. If we look back at the internal logic of this show, every single time Sarah tries to force a relationship with someone else, she inevitably gravitates right back to Xander. Remember when she tried to marry Gwen? Oh wait, that was Xander. Remember when Sarah was kidnapped and dumped on that island by Kristen? The only thing that kept her sane was the memory of Xander's love. They have survived baby swaps, amnesia, island kidnappings, and endless betrayals. A temporary housing crisis and a desperate Brady Black are not going to be the things that tear them apart forever. In fact, I predict that Sarah living with Brady will be the exact catalyst that makes her realize how much she despises not waking up next to Xander. The contrast between these two men right now is staggering, and it is going to be the key to Sarah's ultimate reunion. Brady is offering Sarah a suffocating, rushed romance built on his own insecurities. Xander is offering Sarah space, respect, and a mature partnership focused entirely on the well-being of their child. By letting Sarah go, Xander is actually proving that he is finally worthy of holding on to her. The loss of the Kiriakis estate is a devastating blow, but it is forcing Xander to strip away all the wealth, the legacy, and the mansion walls, leaving him with nothing but his raw, undeniable love for his family. And that is exactly what Sarah needs to see. She needs to see the man behind the Kiriakis name. So, while it might look like Xander and Sarah are walking down two completely different paths right now, those paths are absolutely destined to collide. The spoilers are clear. This shock is the push they need. They are going to weather this challenge together. It might take a few weeks of painful longing, jealous glances, and awkward co-parenting handoffs, but the tension is going to build until it finally snaps. Xander is going to realize that his next chapter is completely meaningless without Sarah by his side as his wife, not just his co-parent. And Sarah is going to realize that Brady is nothing but a temporary distraction from the epic, messy, beautiful love story she shares with Xander. Hang in there, Sarah fans, because this painful separation is just the setup for the most satisfying, emotionally charged reunion we have seen in years.